So we are here at the Gathering in a field near Swindon with Christian Vision for Men. It's an amazing thing. If you've not come and you are a bloke and you can get here this weekend, I would honestly urge you to try and get here. It will actually be brilliant. I've met so many folk around site who just say, do you know what? I can't not come. It is so good. I have to be here. Now, I'm loving chatting to some of the people who are here on site. And we're working our way through some of the exhibitors who are happy to come and talk to me live on air, including this next lovely gentleman called Johnny. Hello, Johnny.
Hello.
So just tell us a little bit. You're from St Andrews Bookshop, and apparently you're a little bit to do with the history of the bookshop.
Yeah, absolutely. So my granddad first bought the bookshop back in 1957, so it's been within the family for the past 67 years now, nearly our 70th anniversary. And we're based in the heart of Buckinghamshire in Great Missenden. And Great Missenden is famous for where Roald Dahl lived and died and where his grave is right now. And so it's got a bit of history to the village, and obviously the main show of the village is the bookshop. And we've got currently have a literature festival on at the moment, a classical literature festival, and we have plenty of your favourite authors there, such as the likes of Cathy Madavan, Simon Ponsonby, Andy Kind, Emma Boucher-Pye, and Fiona Castle. So if you can't get to the Gathering, which obviously takes priority, head over to St Andrews Literature Festival, where it's just a classic literature festival, and you can talk to your favourite authors and hear their side and their testimonies and everything about their books.
Very diplomatically put. Yes, we're at the Gathering, so if you can get here, do. If not, there's a literary festival somewhere else. Now, St Andrews Bookshop, I've seen this at quite a few festivals and events. It just seems to be the thing that I see. I think, oh, great, St Andrews Bookshop, because I've managed to find some amazing things in there. Because Christian bookshops, they're not phased out; they've just disappeared. For all sorts of reasons. What do you think the reason is of this one? It just seems to keep going and going in such a wonderful way.
Yeah, so one of the main reasons that we've been able to go going, especially throughout COVID, was due to my dad, Steve Barnett. If you're within the Christian realm of things, you're most likely to have heard that name once or twice at the least. He's been working at the bookshop for the past 40 years, so ever since he was a kid like I have been for the past 20 years. And yeah, so he came up with the idea called the Big Church Read over lockdown, where if you're in a small group or a church, or you can either do it by yourself and join a online group, you could read a book and then watch the videos together, which were done by the author themselves, and you could talk it through within the group, like within your small group, and then the author would explain it on the video, explaining it chapter by chapter and in between the lines. And so it's basically just a book club thing, but a national church one. And yeah, so before in the past we've had done national Big Church Reads, but they have taken a bit of a backseat because of the literature festival. But once that's out the way, then we should be up and at them again with the Big Church Reads.
I think for some people, they say, it's all digital now. We've got an e-book reader, an e-reader. We don't need paper books. It's not eco-friendly. It's all terrible. But here's the thing. Here's my own opinion. I love a book. I love to hold a book because it becomes your friend. Because that passage that you like, you can underline. You can fold the page over, and all of a sudden, this collection of pieces of paper and ink, all of a sudden, it gets its own life, its own kind of character. And that's what I personally love about a book. So it's quite easy for me to talk to you saying, books, absolutely, they're definitely the way forward. Where do you sit with your thoughts on books, e-readers? Because me, I love a book.
Oh yeah, I'm all for books as well. I suppose it helps me out massively as it's my living. But yeah, some people do struggle getting books, because like having a Kindle or an e-book is a lot more practical. Like it has its pros and cons like with anything else. But one thing with physical books themselves, which massively helped me and my own testimony as well, was that it's just different. It explains it differently. There's a structure to it compared to YouTube videos, compared to ebooks, compared to audiobooks, where you can take your time with it. You can go at your own pace. You can go back to it. Yes, you can do it with all the other things, but there's just a structural thing, tendency and like tangency to it, where it's just different. And for me, it's just above them all, basically.
I've got maybe 4 or 5 books at home. If I'm having a bad time in my life, a bad season, I go and pick this book up. it's creased, it's a bit battered, it's a bit it's not in perfect condition. But you know what? That book's got a story for me. You mentioned that books are part of your testimony. Are you happy to go there a little bit? So, what's your testimony? How books, affected your life in such an amazing way?
So I've been coming to events like this, or different events, such as New Wine, Soul Survivor, Spring Harvest, Big Church Festival, Focus, all of them ever since I was born, basically. So I've probably been to about countless different seminars and meetings, and heard the gospel probably about 1,000 times or so now. Not saying it's a bad thing, but I think it probably got to a stage where it's just all going over my head completely. And this winter, I was just out in Africa solo traveling, and one of the places I was right in the heart of the Masai Mara, which is in southern Kenya, and it's basically in the middle of nowhere. You have to take about a day to travel there and everything like that. And I was stuck there with hardly anyone for miles to go. This guy's house I was at had this mini library thing. I thought, okay, I may as well read a book whilst I'm out here. And one of the books I picked up was In the Grip of Grace by Max Lucado. And I think it may have actually just come back into print, but it was first written in like the 1980s, 1990s, but there was a parable in it at the start of it about four brothers who, with the river, and how they got washed away, and then the older son has to go to them, and one of them was a hedonist, other one was a judgmentalist, and the other one was a legalist, and the other one just accepted the grace of the brother, the eldest brother, which was obviously Jesus in the parable. And then that was at the start of the book, and the rest of the book just explained God's grace, just continues on that path, and it's just something I never actually comprehended before. But there's a difference between like listening to something or reading something and just glossing over it, but actually like comprehending it and taking it within. There's like a different level where I finally got through to me about 19 years and had countless meetings after it. But yeah.
It's one of those things that I think so many of us can testify to, though. We can hear something so many times, and then there's that one moment where we're not just hearing it for the 80th time, now we're listening, because now it's kind of getting past our own, suppose, mental filters, for want of a better a word. And I guess that's where books come in, because you can go back and read the same sentence. If you're watching a video, you can't go back a bit because you have to go back too far. And reading a book, actually, you can go back to the last sentence and you can focus on that and just sit and look at it and let it feed you. And it's amazing how that you're in, middle of nowhere, I guess, in some respects, and far from people, and yet God reached into your life through the simplicity of a book.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's just, as I said before, it's just a physical thing you can have. It, as I say, like supports local businesses, small businesses that are dying. It keeps the money out of the rich titans that are Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos. Not to get too conspiracy theorists, but yeah, it just keeps the money in the hands of people, like especially how tough things are going. And yeah, I mean, if you have a Bible, then you don't necessarily want the money of God's word going to people who already have too much of it. You want it to go to people who do reinvest some of our revenue into charities out in Africa as well. We do, and yeah, and like back into the church. And yeah, so we're not exactly confined by any denominations as well. So as long as you accept Jesus, we accept Jesus. That's it. That's that's the baseline of our theology at St Andrews as well, basically.
I think the basis of any decent theology is fairly simple, because if we complicate it, it gets infinitely more complicated. Right, Johnny, thank you. Have you got a website so people can find out more about St Andrews Bookstore?
Yeah, so it's just as simple as standrewsbookshop.co.uk.
standrewsbookshop.co.uk if you want to know more about that. Johnny, thank you for your time and sharing some of your testimony as well, which is the bit that excites me the most. So you're here at the gathering. Are you looking forward to anything in particular?
Yeah. So last month's the first year, as it's only 18 plus. But yeah, it's just Beachy and the other guy, Blackie, Blackie, that's it. Yeah, they're really cool. It's just so laid back. And is it Bleachy with Carl Beach? Sorry, with the Parkinson's. Like his story and like his attitude to it all is just amazing. To just get an update on that and just to be refreshed with that would be quite cool.
Fab. Well, thank you, Johnny, for your time with us. I'll let you get back to your bookshop.
The Pure newsletter comes out once a month and is designed to build up, entertain and encourage you. Sign up for our newsletter at pure247radio.org.